guys, it's Rosemary. I'm so excited because my best business bestie, Jana, is here with me today. I'm so thrilled that she agreed to be the first one on. I love it. I'm so excited. I just feel like we work really well together. So I'm going to bring her on and ask her a few questions about branding, creating offers, and marketing your business. And she's going to share a little bit of a peek inside her own business. So, Jana, how are you?
Hello, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thanks so much for being here. So, obviously, TwigyPosts is one of the most well-known styled stock photography companies on the internet. Like, it really is. So, I feel like I hear this a lot is people talk about Shay Cochran, or however you say her name, Cochran, I don't know, her, however you say her beautiful name, her, and then your name is like literally second on the list is when people talk about it. So for sure, you're one of the most well-known people in the style stock industry. So excited to have you. And of course, as you know, style stock images play a huge part in branding, creating offers, and marketing. So I just want to hear a little bit about how your own customers use your products in their own brand. So how do they brand their business using your items?
Totally. And oh my gosh, that intro, Rosemary, thank you. It's not all true, but thank you.
It is.
Let's see. Okay, so how do my customers use images in their branding? So I've seen a few different ways because I offer kind of a variety of stock photos and bundles. So I have some that are free, specifically for Young Living and doTERRA users. And so I have seen a lot of ebooks and marketing materials pop up with my images on it. So it may be an individual distributor that wants to just do something extra for her team with some ideas, so she'll use it in there. Or they're using them on their feed or an Instagram story. So I see those pop up quite a bit. And then I also have, my membership where people get access to all the images that I've created, and they're using those in like wildfire. It's so fun because they're on Instagram, they're on Facebook, they're in Facebook ads, they're on Instagram stories. There's just a variety of ways that you can use them. And what I love is because they all kind of have that same vibe, they all coordinate together, and makes it really easy to transition when you're trying to attack all those social media platforms. When you have images that all look good together and represent your brand, it makes it easier to feel confident when you want to branch out. So maybe you're really good at Facebook and you're ready to really tackle your blog, get some stuff on Pinterest, well, then you know that you can take that same look over and your brand is going to look polished, it's going to look cohesive, and it's going to point back to you. So that is probably the main way that I'm seeing them is social media, websites, blogs, all over the place. Just making business easy, right?
Sure. And that's huge because I feel like that's the one piece when someone in their minds thinks, okay, I have this new business or I'm transitioning my business and I need branding. I don't think immediately they think of photography. I think immediately they think of logos and color palettes and maybe stuff like that. And that's super important. I mean, I do that for clients, but I think that just as important are the images that you're using in all of your content because that carries the message even further.
Absolutely. And we're so visual. So once you've seen someone's logo and your brain just attaches to that. So I know your logo now and I can see it, but you don't have your logo on every single Instagram post that you do or every single Facebook post. So when you have brand images that push your color scheme, that kind of represent your style, it's just staying before people visually and letting them know I'm here, I'm the same, it's the same company, same brand, and you really build that reliability. It would be hard for me if I logged in and I'm just following all your Facebook posts and then all of a sudden you transition to like neon green images. It wouldn't go with who you are. It would kind of stop me and make me feel like you're unreliable. So when you can have brand images that go along with everything that you've created for your business, it just adds to that, that kind of that social cred, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. And the fact that it is stock and it is not the price point of custom images, I feel like that's opening the doors to anyone, whether they're just starting out or they've been in business for a while, because let's be real, it's kind of pricey.
Oh my gosh. I know when my husband and I had a wedding business, that's kind of what kickstarted TwigyPosts in the beginning was because Instagram, I was brand new to it. So this would be in like 2012, maybe 2013. I was really trying to build up our business, and I knew I needed something because I didn't have photos to post every single day. So I actually went to a wedding photographer that nobody knows, but she had beautiful work. And I said, can I buy a few of your images? And they were $50 each. And I ran out over time because there's only so many ways you can crop a photo, you know?
Yeah.
And I realized, like, you need pictures to post on a consistent basis. And that is a huge part of your brand. It's a huge part of people feeling like they want to follow you and feel confident. So I really wanted to direct my business in a way that would have different price points for people. So I always have free galleries. When you sign up for my mailing list, you get like 30, I think. I do free galleries for Young Living and doTERRA. And then I try to get my price points in a way where you get the most for your money, and everything coordinates, everything looks good together. So you're guaranteed to get right out of the gate running and looking really good. And that was important to me because I knew I wanted that and I needed that.
Right. Yeah. And for sure, people want to be good at what they do. They don't want to become photographers.
Right.
That is, I see, like when I do cut, because I've done custom shoots before, you know, and I do stock also. And that's one of the biggest things is like, you're working with people that are so overwhelmed with all the things. Like there's so many things to running a business. The fact that you can take that one thing off their plate. That's one of the biggest things. Like it's the most important thing ever. It is the calling card of your business. And the fact that they don't have to figure out how to use a fancy camera, or they don't need to figure out how to like properly light their iPhone photos is like, it's literally the biggest gift ever. It's so nice.
Absolutely. And then they don't feel like they're breaking the bank. Like, I think that's why a lot of people tend to go the DIY route, because they're like, I could never afford that. Like, I know I need it for my business, but I can't afford it. So I said, all right, let's take it down a notch. Let's make it affordable, because I think that as business owners, as women especially, we want to see other people succeed. I know I do. And so if I can bring them a tool and say, listen, here's a $40 investment that will carry you through a year. I mean, some of my bundles, like if you really make the most of it, that can last you through your first year business, like no problem.
Sure.
And that was important to me, to make that available to people, because then we all kind of get to start the same starting line. Nobody's way, way back. We're all together. We all have the same things that we need, and it's helpful.
Yeah, I love that. That's so good. Okay, so as far as now, we talked about branding. How have you seen people use your images in the things they're actually selling? So obviously with your membership, you have certain, and your photo bundles, you have different restrictions on them. You know, you have different licenses and you have different things that people can do for their businesses. So for you, what are people creating to sell with your images that you have seen?
The best example would be Sarah, at Bonfire & Company. She created a social media pack, and she used my stock images in it. And when I was looking at it, I couldn't even believe that they were mine, because she took so many pictures and added fonts, and she added different types of edits to them and cropped them and really made them unique. So it wasn't like she was just like, oh, here's a stock photo, put a quote over it, and I did my work for the day. She took it and made an entirely different product out of it and just used that as the base. It's kind of like baking a cookie. Like, she had, my images were the flour, and then she put in the 20 other ingredients and did all the work. For me, that is what the best way to use stock photos in a product that you want to sell. If I'm handing you flour and you go and resell that flour, you're not doing the right thing, right? But when you take it, that base ingredient, the stock photo, and you make social media packets, you make templates out of them, you do things that at the end of the day, like, I won't even really be able to recognize my photo in it per se. I'd have to look for it. That's the best way to use them, because then you're treating my photos correctly by not infringing on that copyright. But then you're also making the most, like if you have a membership with me, or if you're buying a bundle, you're making the most of your investment, turning around, creating a product with it, and then you can make income off of that. So I think it's a win-win.
Yeah, that's a perfect partnership. Because same thing with Sarah, like maybe you're just an amazing graphic designer, or you're a great writer, or you're a great website designer or developer, and you're just not skilled with the camera. That is the perfect opportunity to be able to partner up with somebody. So if someone wanted to do that, how do they go about doing that with your images?
So to use my images for resale, if you're wanting to do something that's on a large scale, so let's say 500 or more sales, maybe you're even contracted with a company for something, then you would want to go in and buy my my social media manager. So I have a membership that is for managers, and that allows people to post on other people's feeds. So let's say you're managing the social media account for 2 or 3 other people. You can't go, oh, here, take all these pictures and give them to them. But you can, because you're posting on their behalf, log into the membership library, pull photos that match their brand, and post for them. You can also, I think it's 2 or 3 licenses to create unlimited products. So if you wanted to go in and create a product that you know is going to sell thousands of times over, then that would be the best way, because then you're covered. You know that you can use the images, you can create whatever you have in mind, and then you can sell it and not have any repercussions. And repercussions meaning you would just have to buy another version. Basically, I'm not coming after anybody with pitchforks and fire. Or if you're on a really small scale, so let's say that you have a small Facebook group with maybe 30 people in it, or you have a small online shop that you just started, I would just buy a bundle. And as long as you're not selling more than 500 products, you're good. So you can buy that bundle and you can create a social media template, or you can create something with all those photos. They all come under one, copyright, one license. So you can create one product with those, and then you can give it to the people in your Facebook group, or you can sell it. And just keep those parameters in mind. And I feel like I always tell people, like, if you're good to me, I'm good to you.
Yeah.
Like, there's no gray area. I try to be very black and white with the rules. So if you feel like, oh, I'm not sure about this, just send me a message. Like, I'll let you know.
For sure. Yeah.
But I'm never
like, I have people email me all the time being like, is it okay if I do this? And it's like, I'm happy to let people do good things with my stuff, like 100%. It's just about communication. Like, you're literally the nicest person I've ever met in my life. So it's literally just send her an email and she will walk you through what you need.
Right. I had one lady email me and ask, she said she wanted to do an opt-in on her website and her Facebook page. So she asked if she could just download my images, upload them to her website, and make that her opt-in, that they got free images. That's where I drew the line, because she's
taking your flower and she's selling your flower. Like, that's not the right thing to do. Like, put the image in a ebook or something. Make something with it.
And I think those are pretty simple, rules to remember. So
for sure. And I know, like, I am in your social media manager membership, and same thing. Like, I have clients that my work just doesn't fit them, that my aesthetic and my way of shooting. Like, I can get, close to stuff, but for me, my time is better spent doing other things for that client, where if you already have these images that are the perfect fit for them, why wouldn't I just have you do the work for me and use your images? It just makes more sense than me dragging out all of my stuff, all of my equipment, doing the editing, buying the props. Like, all of that takes so much time. Like, if it's already there, use it.
Yeah, totally. And I think that, like, I posted on my Instagram stories around Christmas time. I did like a huge haul I wanted to get 3 shoots out of it. And it was close to $500. And when I posted that, people were like, wait, what? You mean you spend that much money on props for like a couple of shoots? Like, they don't understand that, like, this is my business, so that's an investment for me. But if you're a small business owner and you want to do a custom shoot, even just for yourself, you're still looking at a couple of $100, and that's not even going to last you, much.
Right, 100%. And it's like and this is the thing, like, you and I both, like, we've been doing this for a while. So for us, we can go to a store pretty quick. I mean, quicker than I think most people, and say, this will work. This will work. I have these things at home. We'll put it together. Yeah. So I think it looks easier than it really is. Like, it's an art direction, like, skill that you're building up. And so while, like, don't get it twisted, this is hard. Like, it's hard to put everything together, and it takes months of practice and experience and knowing what works and dealing with the weather. Like, we live in California, you're in California, I'm in Arizona, and we're lucky, like, most of the time it's nice weather. But if you're in Minnesota, you don't got a lot of options.
It's true. It's true. Because you have to be available to shoot when the weather is good. And like you said, luckily here, that's most of the time for us. That's 90% of the time. But when you're snowed in, or when you have gray skies, man, it is hard to get a good shot.
It's so hard.
That strong light.
Yeah. So it's like all the time you're going to Target or finding Kate Spade products or whatever else you're doing, you know, or you're ordering them online on Amazon, like all of those little pieces take time. And so like for us, it's obvious. It's like, hello, you're going to spend $35 because you know how much time I just saved you.
Yeah.
But it's like, unless we talk about it, unless we make them understand what the reality is, people don't know, you know? So it's like, they don't know what they don't know, but it's really nice to have conversations like these so people can really understand. Like, I'm sure you got so many DMs being like, I'm sorry, what? $500?
Yeah. Wait, that's only going to be like a couple of bundles? And I was like, yeah, I mean,
Legit.
And especially as I create more and more, like I understand that my cost is going to get higher and higher.
For sure.
People are going to need, you know, things that are a little bit different, or they're going to request stuff that has already been covered by my previous bundles. So it's kind of like you're constantly like upping the game.
Yeah.
And I feel like because stock companies do that, then people are doing that on Instagram too. So as you know, maybe you used to just post a picture of a flower, you know, or in a vase, and now you can have a full-on like sofa scene with a furry blanket and the journal, and those stock photos take a lot of time and a lot of money to create. So, you know, we're kind of morphing into that higher end society, don't you think? Like on Instagram?
Yeah. Well, I just feel like, I think what's happening is people are becoming, they adapt fast. I think human beings adapt quickly and they lose attention quickly. So I think that's 100% right. Like maybe a year ago, you could have just posted a photo of a white rose and said a couple words in your caption, and that would have gotten you a ton of engagement. You could have gotten tons of comments, you know, and tons of likes, and it might have made a big impact. But now as a society online, we've evolved, and that's just not enough, you know? And I think that's good and bad. Like, yes, it sucks that we have to continuously work harder, and it's never going to get easy. Like, I think you and I both see, like, just because incomes rise, just because our followers rise and our audience rise, it does not make this any easier. We just change tactics. You know, there's just more things to do, more things to try, more things to learn. And we are in the same boat as every one of our customers. We have to reiterate and innovate in our businesses always.
Yes,
you know?
Exactly.
So you're seeing the exact same thing. And like for us, I feel like we're in the middle of it because photography is such an industry that's ahead of the game. So you and I think that's where we're similar, is we can spot trends a little faster than most. Like you and I can see, okay, Fixer Upper has become this phenomenon. People are looking at their Instagram feeds. They're seeing these full home living room scenes on their feeds. We have to then take that and see how we can recreate that, because that's where the attention is. And that's the end of the game. Where's the attention? How can we serve that to our customers? Because if it's hard for us, guess who it's harder for? A business coach who's not a photographer, or a web designer who just wants to code. Like she doesn't want to create, you know?
It's so true. It's so true.
So
and we're ahead of it. And in the terms of, I think because, well, anybody that's visual, I think we're always kind of on the forefront because we're just constantly absorbing, you know? Like I can drive down the highway. I remember a couple of years ago, I taught a photography class for high schoolers, and they were asking me, they were like, how do you know like what the next big thing is? And I said, I can guarantee you, this was like the very beginning of the school year. I said, I can guarantee you the trend for Christmas cards this year is going to be a burnt red with black and white. I can guarantee it, because every freaking sign that I saw to get here had those colors in it somehow. Every single TV show that's really popular right now has those colors in it. It was right when, what was the murder show? Where she
How to Catch a Murder or something like that.
Yeah. And sure enough, when Minted came out that year with all their stuff, it was all burnt red, black and white, almost every single thing.
The plaid, I can totally visualize that.
And I just was picking up on it just through life. Just shopping, driving down the highway, watching TV.
Yeah, but just being aware of your surroundings. That's what it is.
Like wrap their minds around it. They're like, how do you know that? But because they weren't visual yet. You know, they hadn't trained their brain to think that way.
Exactly. And that's a skill that you build as you go on and on.
Right.
But it's really hard to build that skill if you're busy selling furniture.
Yes.
Or you're busy doing whatever it is that
if it's not enjoyable to you, you know?
100%. Yeah. I totally think that people can build up to being better at that. But if that's not this is our job.
Yeah.
Like, people all the time are like, how do you do all the social media thing? I'm like, that's how I make money. Like, that's how I feed my family. Like, if you to feed your family that way, you'd learn it too.
Right.
You know? So like you feed your family, teaching piano or whatever, whatever it is that you decided to do. So this just makes it so much easier, just having this option. This is like, for me, for real, it's like the whole point of it is serving these people. It's like, we want those piano teachers to win. We want selling essential oils to be easier, not harder. Like, please take these images.
It's so true. I think that too, that's why I think people sense that, Rosemary, like it is at the end of the day. Like if I was doing this and it wasn't helping people, if it was just serving me by bringing in income, but it wasn't a help or it didn't make a difference for people, then I would lose steam, Like I'm going into my 3rd year, and I think this is the thing that, like, I wake up every day still excited. And for being almost 3 years in, that says a lot, I think.
Totally.
That I wake up thinking about, like, oh, what am I going to shoot today? Or what am I going to buy today to kind of prepare for a shoot? Or all those things are so fun because I love the feedback, and I love knowing that it helped somebody, or it solved an issue, or it helped their business grow a little bit faster. Like, for me, that is the best feeling ever.
Yeah, that is amazing. So do you have a customer or an idea in your mind that you've seen people use your images to market their business? So like to sell what they're selling? Do you have like a good person in your head that you've seen do that in an awesome way?
Oh my gosh. I'm on the spot. I think January Made Designs. Have you seen her on Instagram? She uses my photos and she like turns them into works of art, and all of this promotes her business. So I think every time I see her post something, I get a little bit giddy inside because I'm excited to see like what she's done, what she's created, she's so talented. I'm trying to think of other people. I'm on the spot, but there's...
No, that's okay. That's totally plenty. Yeah. I just love the idea of that, of like something that stand out. But like, don't you kind of get a little bit like, even now, even though you see it all the time, don't you feel a little bit starstruck kind of when you just are scrolling through your feed and you see your image and you're like, oh my God, like that's cute. Or like, oh wait, I made that.
Yeah. It's true. Is even some of the older stuff, I'll be like, I think that is mine.
Yes.
I love it.
And what's great is like, I'll see your images and I'll be like, oh my gosh, did you know that this image is like, or I'll be like, how cute, she's using your images, like I'll totally, I can absolutely spot your work like a mile away.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it is a lot of fun and it never gets old, so I'm always like scrolling through liking, like if I see somebody that's used my image, I like it. And I'm just, it never gets old. I'm always thrilled. I'm always so thankful too,
Yeah. That's so awesome. I love it. Okay, so let's talk about your own business. So as far as you branding your business, what do you hope people, when they see your images, what do you hope that they think in their minds?
Well, when I first started I remember my very first newsletter. So I went a year without even an email list or a newsletter. Like that's how out of the loop, and I didn't know anything about a business, because you helped me get established. But I do remember sitting down and thinking, what would I want to convey in words? Because I know how to convey my heart in pictures, but how would I convey it in words? And one of the biggest things was I just wanted people to feel like they could sit on my back porch and we could drink some sweet tea together, talk about business, kind of troubleshoot a little bit, and then that they would walk away with pictures that would represent their brand, because even if you don't know what to say on Instagram, if you have a pretty picture to post and you find a quote online, you can feel like you accomplished something for the day, right?
Oh, 100%. I've seen so many people that will like post a picture of yours and they'll put like a Bible verse. And I'm like, it's just such a good fit, like, and then you can just sit and expound on like what you learned from that verse or like what your big takeaway or how that resonates with you today. It's like, that is a recipe for a good post any day of the week.
Right. So I knew when I finally sat down and like put into words what I wanted, I really wanted people to feel like that they had a friend, that they had someone that was cheering them on, that believed in them, and then was saying like, here's something that may help you, So when I wanted to build up my brand, I wanted that feeling within everything, the colors. I wanted it to be very peaceful. I'm not the one, you're not going to log on to my website and have me like, putting bold colors everywhere and making it so overwhelming. I want it to just feel fun. I want it to feel inviting. And so when we talked, you captured that perfectly. And I mean, you captured it in like 2 minutes. It was amazing. So you like built my website, you developed my color scheme. It has like a little bit of denim in it. It has some really subtle grays. It's just for me, I don't feel hectic when I go onto my own website. I feel at peace. And you captured that. You got my vibe. And I feel like it fits perfectly with what, backtrack a couple of years ago, when I sat down to write my first thing. I feel like it fits in perfectly with that,
Yeah.
Friend, you're here. Let me help any way I can.
Yeah, no, it really does feel like, first of all, it was so easy to create because it's like, I know you, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, that is how you make people feel. Like that exact, like when you go to your site, I'm like, oh, I totally know how I'm going to feel. Like I've never been to your house, but 100% I know what it's going to feel like when I go in. Like that's what it's going to feel like, So that was, pretty good. But I totally think that your images totally do convey that, like about your brand. Like you just are warm, but clean. Like it's clean and simple, and it's totally like the vibe that so many people want to achieve, but they don't know how. And so I really think that people are lucky to have you as a resource for that.
Oh, thank you. And there's so many stock photo options out there. I think people, they have to find their sweet spot. Some people love a photo that has a lot of visual appeal. They want their eye to bounce around to, 10 items on the desk. And I know for me, I want to just focus in on one or two pretty things, because then I still feel at peace. It all comes back to like how I feel and how I want other people to feel. And I think I shoot that way too. Like, hold on, clear the page. I just want a couple of pretty things and I'm happy. And so, I think the brand just kind of morphed as a result of that. And it's been a lot of fun to just see other people resonate with that too.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And that is what the great thing is that just because, like, even if your images were not someone's cup of tea, there's so many other kinds of tea out there. Like there's so many people that are talented that are shooting, that no matter who you are, what your brand is going to be, there's probably a good fit for you.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that, is something I always try to help people understand. Like, it's not just me. I'm not the one-stop shop, I may feel a need for this season. So you may be like, oh, I really love her Christmas images. Mm-hmm. And then they may love somebody else's like springtime images or holiday images, or like, I remember in the very beginning, you were like, okay, you had all the party images.
Yeah.
So when people would ask me for stuff, I was like, hold on, that's a lot of color. Here.
Well, and that's the great thing about having this little community that we built. I know there's only like a few of us that are friends, but like, that's so helpful to be like, listen, I would love to be able to serve every person. There's just not the hours in the day. So I know, Jana, because I follow you on Instagram, I have my alerts on. So every single time you post, I can see, oh my God, she has a new bundle. I can tell people, listen, I'm not shooting pink this month. I literally just don't have it in my like time schedule, but Jana released an amazing pink collection. Go to her. Or like the letterboard. I think the letterboard, you did that and it was amazing and it was beautiful, and people can customize it. Like, I don't have that on my shot list right now, and I'm not going to go buy a letterboard. Jana already bought it. So why don't you go to her, buy her bundle, and that will serve your purpose.
Yeah, it's true. We can all just, refer people back and forth. And I think as our price points are all very affordable, then that really gives people the best. Like they're able to get what they need from each person and, have the brand that they've dreamed of. And so that's a lot of fun.
It is super fun. And I think there is a place for people that are higher end. Like I love the idea of high end. That's just not how I serve my clients. So for me, when I've priced out my services, I do have high end stuff, but that is definitely for more custom, more like, and so I totally see where there'd be people that want something more unique to them. And that's a higher price point. But when there's more people that are willing to use your images and can do them to make their brand still unique, I think it's so awesome to have that opportunity. Because I know you have, and that's actually a perfect segue into offer. Tell us about what, because you have some new stuff coming out and you have different ways people can purchase your images.
Yes. So I teamed up with my very best friend, Abby. She lived here in LA and then they just moved to Portland. But we teamed up. So for years she did flowers and I would use her floral arrangements in my photos. And then it came, it got to the point where she would bring the flowers over and we'd shoot together and hang out all day. And then over time, she was like, man, I love shooting too. So she would shoot right alongside me. We would be doing kind of the same thing, but she had a totally different look at the end of the day with her edits and kind of like her style and vibe. So over time, we started talking and we developed an entirely different line of stock photos. It's called LaPorte. So that's Los Angeles and Portland. It's kind of a fun play for us. And we both shoot images that are a little bit higher end. So we're using nicer items. We're using a lot of the expensive florals. And then we're editing them to where they're just a little bit moodier, a little bit darker, a little bit of that. I don't know. It definitely has a Portland vibe, I would say. So we are prepping. She actually texted me today. So we're in the middle of trying to prep everything, but that'll be launching very, very soon. So we have an entire shop full of those images, and they're just one-off images. So you don't buy a bundle of them, you buy them individually, and it is geared more towards the person that's going to buy an image and use it heavily, you know, in their branding, or buy one or two that they're going to kind of weave in throughout social media. So that is a lot of fun. That's different for me. My brain thinks I'm like, okay, they need a whole bundle. And Abby was like, no, they don't. They want a little bit of variety. So she kind of brought that new edge to me, and I love it. I'm really excited to launch this.
Yeah. Because I mean, there's like, you and I can think of a million ways people can use stuff, but like our customers, I feel like they always come up with stuff that I never thought of. You know? So people can buy those really high-end images and like throw it on the hero image of their website and have it be like showstopper stunning.
Yes.
Like not everything has to be as consumable as social media.
Yes, exactly. And that's really, when we talked about it, that's what we wanted. We wanted there to be a lot of pride put into their photos. So we're taking a lot of time shooting them, and then they're able to use that. Like you said, like it may be just their one hero image, or it may be something that they're using for the season and they're so proud of it. So it's just a little bit of a different take. It's still affordable. It's just different than bundles. Bundles, you know?
Those are the other ways they can buy your images, right? In the bundles on your website.
Right. So aside from Laporte, I still, of course, have TwigyPosts, and I have my website, which is a Shopify store. And then I also have my membership site, which is another branch of my website. So I know it can be a little bit confusing, but the membership photos are on my website. And then if you want to just buy bundles or individual images, you can click the shop link, and that'll take you on over to my Shopify store where you can buy, you know, a bundle, buy one bundle, you can buy 10 bundles, whatever you need for your project or your business.
Perfect. I love that. And then as far as marketing goes, what are some fun things that are coming up that you're excited to try out in marketing?
I got Jana Kutcher's Pinterest course, so I'm really wanting to dive into Pinterest.
Yes.
I have for a while, but her course is great, so I'm really excited to try that. And of course, I'm always dabbling in Facebook ads, so that is going to kick back up here in the new year, just to see what I can do with that. And then promoted pins, I'm looking back at that on Pinterest. I have played around with ads on Instagram, and then trying all different stuff on Instagram. More stories, less photos, more photos, less stories, whatever. I feel like it's, for me, I'm always just trying. I know that there's a zillion courses out there, and honestly, I could text you at any moment. You'd be like, here's this, and this, you know.
Yeah.
But sometimes it is kind of fun to get to know your audience and find out what they want, and just look back on the data and go, well, that story failed, but this one did good. And then for me, it's not about learning a method. It's just getting more in tune with my audience. So
100%. That's like a big shift that I'm really going to focus on this year, is like people, like maybe like less focus on volume and more focus on like serving just the few that are like super in love with you, and then serving them the best you can. And that trickles, you know, to more people.
Totally. So I think, you know, it's a different shift than it has been in the past. And I like it. I like that I feel like I am narrowing down. What is it? Niching down?
Yeah. Niching down. Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, I feel like it'll be a broad funnel. You know what I mean? And so that for me is definitely a goal for this year, and just see what'll happen and where it'll go.
Yeah. I love that. Are you planning any new free bundles coming up?
Any free bundles? Let me see. I don't have
Young Living in doTERRA.
Young Living in doTERRA. And then last year I did the free monthly bundles, October, November, and December. And that was a huge hit. I just kind of took some time off at Christmas, and I feel like I'm just kind of getting back in the swing of things. Do you feel that way too?
Same. Yes. So it's going to take a full month to get back to my normal.
I haven't even had like a full day to shoot. And I know once I do, like something will come out of that. I'm trying to refigure my offerings. Like, do I want to do a free monthly bundle? Do I want to do a free photo? Like, I think I'm just kind of questioning everything to see what'll be the best, you know?
Perfect. Yeah, I love that. I think that's great. Awesome. Well, that's all the questions I have. I'm super, super excited that you came on. I love it. And then for sure in this video, when I publish it, I'm going to put the links to all of your things, membership,
Thank you.
shop. Yeah. And then whenever LaPorte is ready, we'll definitely do a big push and a hurrah for you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I love you so much, Rosemary.
Oh, I love you.
You're the best.
I will talk to you later. Thank you so much for being on. And if you guys have any questions for Jana, please put them in the comments.